This is Radioplasma, a space dedicated to the exchange of ideas, conversations, stories, music, performances, and randomness. Listen at radioplasma.com. Also, you can find us on Spotify, Apple Podcast, Google Play, TuneIn, and Stitcher. Welcome to Radioplasma. I'm your producer and host, Johan Rashi Vega. And here we are in the middle of a pandemic that is still happening and that has kept us away for a couple of months already. But here we are, still doing this on a virtual environment. Actually, it's interesting how this evolution into the virtual setting possibly is going to alter this formatting of creating media content for all of us permanently. So here we are, celebrating art, celebrating creativity, and the resilience that is involved with all of this, because we have been absent due to COVID-19, and exactly because of that, we had to adapt and figure out ways to continue working and operating as creatives and as artists. So this is the first of many engagements and conversations in this restructured format that we expect to have with different people who are creatives, who are artists, and being able to share their stories and their work so that way we can support it as well. So I'm really pleased and honored to welcome today Iréne I-Shea Shaikly, emcee, poet, percussionist, dancer, singer, actress, youth worker, and educator. Iréne, welcome. Thank you for being with us today.
Yes, hello. Thank you, Johan. And my name is Iréne I-Shea Shaikly, just to let everyone know. Thank you so much for having me. These times are they have been challenging and also creative, and also figuring out time management. And also, the transition of a new routine, a new way, it's just an adjustment in so many ways. And so for me, when it first became more like official lockdown, I was just coming back from traveling and was just on a roll with what I self-identify as a global citizen of the arts. And as a global citizen, it's one's like social responsibility to create, to help develop us as a global society, as a global union, And so I just came back from being in Senegal and then in Jamaica, and then COVID hit. I had started a residency for DYS, and that got cut. But can't stop, won't stop, because what ended up happening was that because of creativity, I go, all right, we're in virtual land. I would like to continue this residency. I want to work with these youth that I just started building a relationship with. We only had 3 sessions, and they completely understood, out of this full 3 months, twice a week residency. And so I said, okay, I would like to propose a video drumming series. And so they went back to the big wigs and funders and said, okay, great. And so I just completed it, 40 hours of 6 sessions, bucket drumming, introduction to my drum program called Bucket Beatography. And it's a combination of drumming and choreography mix. So it's very physical. And but this was just the introduction. Anyway, all I'm saying is that even through challenging times, we have to continue to move on. We have to, it's like, accept that that happened, and now what's next? And it's easy to say because there's so many levels to that. There's so many levels to being, put in a place of, now you have to, be conscious around germs and your germ jar. And, it's like my household, your household, this like it's pretty intense not being able to have human touch. But the beauty of it is at the same time, it's like being in the physical presence, even if it's you're social distant, hugging yourself to send that energy, even though we can't hug each other, but that energy is powerful. I'm a big I believe truly that energy is in everything. And so um my point is just can't stop, won't stop. Stay creative, even through these times, and find a peace of mind, whatever that is. Um, and sometimes some of us are in homes where there's abuse. Some of us are in massive isolation. Some of us, a lot of trauma, activation happening, and on top of a pandemic, yeah, a Black Civil War happening. Uh, so it's a lot of layers and a lot of energy and a lot of transitions in so many ways. The death tolls from the pandemic, Black lives being lost. For me as a drummer, it's important for me as a drummer, we connect to our ancestors. And so for those that are passing or crossing over, it's important for us to play. So I play for them. I play to help ease them into that portal. I play. And so I'm very connected in that way. And so that's healing for me too, because I'm connecting to myself. I'm connecting. This is that time for reflection and for healing. So uh, as a drummer, I'm really thankful for that tool, for being able to offer that, for being able to um, tune into myself, to be present, to be centered. Um, so yeah, this time is truly healing time for all of us. It's a cleanse, and I feel like Mother Earth right now is like crying. Um, there's a lot, and also there's a lot of information that's being thrown at us. So, and a lot of fear, and so you know and uh, and so there's all these things around the 5G. There's all this stuff around 5G, and is this really a virus, or is this the 5G virus? Kind of thing, and affecting urban populations, low income populations, that kind of thing. A lot of information, a lot of fear, but this again is a reminder to me that tuning into self and really remembering the gift of life, and and being appreciative of every moment, not taking it for granted, um, which I also feel that during for those that are survivors and thrivers of trauma understand that place very well. So yeah.
It strikes me the point where you mentioned that when we are missing that contact, physical contact with the people that we hold dear
Mm-hmm.
to us,
Mm-hmm.
and it's traumatizing, and at the same time, it's a realization that how much we need to take care of ourselves, that
Mm-hmm.
we forget that so much and so often, and this has been a great opportunity to do that, to exercise that self-care and be aware of your own strengths and weaknesses and take care of those
Mm-hmm.
as a need.
Mm-hmm.
What has been for you as an individual, but also as an artist and creative, the experiences and the learning that you got because of COVID?
Hmm. I mean, the reflections, the self reflections are really deep, but also the digital connections that I have worldwide with my global community, um, is even more so now. It feels like it's just interesting for me. And so it's hard. I mean, I'm not gonna lie. I'm like, okay, um, just gotta be outside. Just gotta go outside and catch some sun, take some fresh air. We need that vitamin D. So it's important, during these quarantine times, like where to have access to space that is available. So fortunately, I'm privileged enough to have knowledge around nature and areas where I can go. And nature to me, I'm so connected to nature. I'm from the Bronx. I went from the jungle of concrete jungle to moving into the hill towns, rural, and then eventually into like the the hill towns of Massachusetts, small town, and then, um, anyways, just nature um, brings me the calm and the peace and the messages that I need to move forward. I'm very connected to water. That's Water is like one of my. I mean, okay, besides the astrological sign of Pisces, water, Oshun, energy, going to the rivers, to the lakes, more so rivers. I like rivers because of the currents, the energy of the currents. But the sound of the water, the flow of water, the visualization of water, and not holding on to things, and just visualizing that flow, that wave, that just the current just passing you by, that that leaf that is like floating by, and that's it, it's gone. Just finding peace and calm during these times. And if I don't have access to it, the power of that visualization helps. Um, and drumming and singing and making songs, making music that reflects the times, which I had just sent you the track with the Lost Tribe entitled "Say Their Names," and I can go into that actually.
Yes, please, because that is another way to reflect those layers that you were mentioning before.
Mhm.
The situation we are currently going through, and at the same
Yeah.
time, the unrest that is happening, that it's been happening as well for a long time, but it was brought up on May 25th by the killing of George Floyd. And now is a need for speaking up and speak strongly and boldly and loudly about all these situations. And you did it in a creative way along with your global community. So, yes, tell us a little bit about that.
Wow. Okay, I have to backtrack because there's a connection between me and Jocelyn Pleasant, who's the band leader of the Lost Tribe. Um, Her and I went to Senegal together, and man, we had a blast. I mean, and so we were able to connect. I was able to connect with a lot of musicians there, play music, jam out. Oh, by the way, this is my stepdaughter. She just she's just coming to say hi. And what is it? Okay, yeah, you can go that way. Just walk behind me. Yeah, go around. So, sorry. Distraction, children, life. um, what was I gonna say? So we were in Senegal together, and came back. All of this happened. But wait, let me go back. I'm sorry. Goree Island. We got to visit Goree Island, and Goree Island was the big slave trade. It was the transatlantic. So those the most the tip, right, closest coming to the so-called New World. So um, I am the first to of my family to ever step foot in Africa. And that was powerful, very powerful. I, who have been so in tune to my African roots, my indigenous roots. And it's funny because my family makes fun of me. They're like, "I do it up, do it up." Ellos hablan así, tú eres más prieta que ninguno de que cualquiera de nosotros aquí. And it's funny because I'm mixed. I'm half part Dominican, but raised Dominican and then part Jewish. So but by the paternity side, so I guess technically. Anyways, Goree Island was really heavy. Was really, really heavy. Visiting the sites where the Africans were taken and put into these what do they call it? Houses, these big, and the space was it's just very tight. That the door of no return was really intense and heavy. When I say heavy, like my shoulders, like I felt this weight just, as soon as I got to that, we had to take the ferry there. As soon as I got there, it was like I just felt it. It was so heavy. But it was also healing. It was also really healing. I sat by that water and I just sat by that water and I just meditated. So Jocelyn and I had that experience together. It was a very powerful experience. She and I had different experiences. I completely lost it. Whereas, I can't speak for her, but she had a different emotion, more anger. It was more anger. So a lot came through in that. Fast forward, this, George Floyd, Breonna Taylor, all these names that start getting dropped, which has been happening and happening and happening. But now there's this, of course, news and how they decide to put, so, you're okay. Jocelyn links up with me and she says, I-Shea, we got to work on a song. No justice, no peace, something. And I was like, all right, okay, cool. I reached out to my brothers in Senegal, my new friends, and I said, how do you say no justice, no peace in Wolof? How do you say no justice, no peace in Jola? And I said, can you please send me the audio so I could hear the pronunciation? And they sure did. It was the most beautiful, community connection. They sure did. They followed up. They sent it to me, and then I sent them an audio back to make sure I was saying it right. They said, you speak Wolof? I said, you guys are funny. But so I reached out to my Yoruba friend from Nigeria, who's also an incredible artist. Works with Neka. I don't know if you ever heard of Neka, but and I said, how do you say, I looked up what move on means, and it's this, but how do you pronounce it? So he sent it to me as well. Anyway, it was just a beautiful experience to have that kind of, that connection, that exchange, that, the names. So as I got the track, Jocelyn sent me the music. I said, okay. She said, no justice. I hear that. Okay. What do I want to say? I said, all these names are being dropped. We got to say their names. We got to keep saying their names. They can't be forgotten. So every time I would look up a name, I have a list. It just was a long list. I couldn't go through all those names, but every time it was a very emotional, but also I had to say their names. While I was writing it down, I would say their names. It gets me a little bit emotional. But I have to say their names. So Tony Allen just passed away, Fela Kuti's drummer. And so the essence of the Afrobeat in there is a Tony Allen it's also a tribute to Tony Allen. So it's really, this track was about the African diaspora and coming together. May the Almighty protect us. No justice, no peace, and Wolof. Come on, Jola. Move on. Balante, muévete, that's right. I-Shea, the lost track. Come on. with it, with it, move 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 it. Say their names. George Floyd, Breonna Taylor. Say their names. Oluwatoyin Salau, Rayshard Brooks, Trayvon Martin, Tamir Rice. Say their names.
And that was, as soon as I heard the rhythm kicking into the song, that's the first thing that came to me.
Oh yeah.
Delicious sound of Afrobeat.
Oh yes.
Which it is interesting how so many people that listen to it without knowing the history and its origins think of it as the most festive and celebratory music there is in the world, which is in a sense, but at the same time it is actually the sound of history, of ancestry.
That's right.
And suffering.
That's right.
Transformed, transmuted into celebration, because that is knowledge, that is experience, and that is the motivation to keep on, to keep, to stay alive.
That's right. And Fela held the shrine in Nigeria. It was every night. Didn't they play like every night? That band played like four times a week or something like that. But that brought that Afrobeat movement. It just got bigger. It brought the people together. You know, it's juicy. The music is juicy. And the beauty of the collaboration with that piece, man, I just got so emotional right now. Excuse me. The beauty of that piece is the collaboration and it's like, hey, bro, like she has her people. It's the Lost Tribe. I mean, everybody came through to put this together. So, and virtual, like having virtual meetings, like
So tell me
sending individual tracks. I had to send my own click tracks. Everybody had to send their own click tracks and then put it together to make it happen. So
how was that experience of doing a process that is virtual in all sense, but lacks that interaction that you have when you are even recording by tracks, but you are seeing each other's, and that nonverbal communication, it is part of the performance. How was this experience for you?
Beautiful, because no matter what, music, just the power of music and connections with folks is just beautiful. When there's a connection, it's inevitable. We can do so much. So it was a beautiful experience. And we after releasing that, we're now working on a new song that's called Diaspora Sings. And this is a conversation that Jocelyn and I had in Senegal. And so now we're gonna really put now that Say Their Names is out, the next step is putting that one out. So
how can people get the opportunity of enjoying Say Their Names and at the same time support your work?
Yes. Say Their Names, you can check it out on the Lost Tribe Bandcamp. I think, what is it? bandcamp.com/Lost Tribe, the Lost Tribe. So check it out that way. I work with a lot of different bands. So you could follow me. I work with Pamela Means and the Reparations, which is another, if you don't know, you better ask somebody. No, because Pamela Means and the Reparations, we're a trio. Pamela Means, Cinnamon Blair, and myself. And we are releasing our upcoming album in October 9th. Yes, this was a live session recording of Pamela's songs, which includes Impeachment Now, 2 years ago. So how relevant is it today? But Pamela Means is a badass. And if you don't know, like I said, check Pamela Means and the Reparations. October 9th is the album release. So stay tuned. And you can check PamelaMeans.com.
Yes, I remember hearing her performance of Impeachment Now on Mill Pond Live last summer.
Uh-huh.
And it's a combination of both things, the song itself, but also the live
Yep.
performance and seeing the reaction of the audience listening to the song and getting through it
Hmm.
is this is the beauty, the power, and the magic of music. How much it can enrich our lives, but at the same time send messages and even transform our way of perception of concepts and things that are important, relevant, and real in
Hmm.
our everyday
Hmm.
lives.
Hmm. Yeah, artists are essential workers too. I believe that music is necessary.
As an artist who has been involved in creative work and collaboration with many people for several years, and
Yeah.
right now going through these new experiences, working from the distance, what will be your advice for artists who are struggling right now, feeling that there is no way to keep on or staying active?
Stay creative. I believe in continuing. It's all about energy, and so when you're continuing to just put yourself out there, just got to keep putting yourself out there. Um, Getting creative and figuring out ways that make sense to you, especially I'm thinking of like teaching artists, that like, oh my gosh, I've lost these gigs, or um, staying staying proactive in your field, staying proactive in your work, staying connecting to agencies. There's also you know continuing to look into relief funds. um, what else? I just keep saying staying creative, because and also and patience. Things take time. Things take time. I'm fortunate that, like, my bucket beatography drum program, I started it 3 years ago, and it's now starting to pick up more. Um, so things take time, but staying creative, staying focused, practicing your craft, staying connected to your community somehow, staying transparent even on social media, stuff like that. Um, and not allowing this to get in the way of you. That's really what I'm saying. Not it let get in the way of you and what who you are. This is your work, this is your calling. Um, like I say, I love that term. Can't stop, won't stop is the theme. So yeah, I hope that was helpful, and to continue to look for resources and things that might help during these financial times as well. Don't lose hope. Really, don't lose hope. Um, Write for yourself and keep journaling. Like for me, sometimes I'll just journal. Just gotta journal it out, drum it out, journal it out. And what what it was for me is, word of mouth. It's like, you know me I love playing with people. I love collaborating. I i love to shine, and I love to shine with you too. You know what I mean? Like, it's and so that when you're in your element and happy and just in that element, it just protrudes everywhere. So I've been fortunate to be asked by many folks, many amazing artists, to work with them. I've been fortunate to travel, take my work in different places, and then connect in those ways. So, and it's all about the confidence and staying in tune to your work, practicing, and knowing that you are worth it, and you are amazing, and you got this. It can't stop, won't stop. This whole situation. Just got to keep staying focused and creative. Creativity is limitless. So I'm all about the power of creativity.
Yes, and I think this words of encouragement and wisdom are important for many people to hear, because it's not that people do not know, but these reminders are important, because I guess we get so absorbed by the negativity happening around for everything that is going on that
That's why I try to stay away from the news. I really work hard. I don't know. You know, my mother is the news. ¿Y qué? Mira, te voy a decir que mira, ya son 50,000 casos en los Estados Unidos y tú sabes que están diciendo que no es el aire, que no es el aire, no es airborne. So my mother's the news. I hear it, and it's a beautiful thing. She's an elder. She's 71 years old. She, lives alone, and she needs that connection in her family. And I will listen. Oh my goodness, I'll be on the phone for 2 hours with my mother. It's great, but staying away from all the negativity and all that. Also, the activation of any traumas, can activate and put us in that limited mindset. So that's the point. Don't be limited. Like, there's always, what's the word? What's the saying? If there's a will, there's a way, or and it's all energy. And sometimes it does take time, but keep going, keep going. Believe. Look in the background, your thing says, "In this home, we believe." Yes, we believe. Your poster in the back. Yeah.
yeah, actually, it's the one that says, "In this home, we believe Black Lives
Black
Matter,
Lives Matter.
love is love, science is real, feminism is for everyone, no human is illegal, and kindness is everything."
Punto final. Exactly. Exactly. So thank you for reading that.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
Irene, anything else you would
Yeah.
like to add?
Let's see. I have some upcoming shows with the Gaslight Tinkers. The Gaslight Tinkers is a genre bending troupe. I just joined them last year. So I've been with them for a year, last May, last year. And we got some shows. We will be at Stone Church in Vermont, July 22nd. A live broadcast. Time, I don't, to be announced, but look out on social media platforms. Follow the Gaslight Tinkers. Follow the Lost Tribe. Follow me on Instagram. I-Shea, the original Jew-Minican. What else? Gaslight, July 22nd. Lost Tribe. There is a show. Lost Tribe, July 20. Oh, Lord. Sorry. Tune into the Lost Tribe. Go to the Lost Tribe page and you will find out. We have some shows coming up as well. So, and Pamela Means and Reparations album coming out in October. Yeah, so that's that. And look out for my video series. I will, when I'm ready, publicize them maybe, or for purchase.
So
I would say for purchase. I'm still meditating on what that means, but I have that 6 sessions package with instruction manual and everything for folks that want an introduction to bucketography. Yeah.
And that is another way to remind the public how important it is to support your artist, especially when this work is so important. And like you mentioned, artists are essential workers as well.
That's right.
Many of our ways to keep our minds somehow at peace, it has been thanks to the work of creatives and artists who are managing how to do this work with limitations of the technology. And when we are so advanced in so many things and we realize we are so limited still on being able to do things that we all took for granted.
That's right. So, okay. Yes. May I say something there? Oh man. It's a learning for sure. I mean, it's a learning to, okay, now I have to go, I got to go into I have to become an audio engineer. I have to become my own videographer, my own lighting person, the teaching artist, the artist, all those in one, and and learning in the process of how to manage that, because it takes a lot of time versus, teaching in physical form. It's just that a lot of time. But so managing your time and what does that look like now that we're in virtual land, and can we get compensated for the hours that we put in versus just prepping, a 1 hour prep for a 2 hour lesson? You know what I'm saying? It's now it takes longer time. So at the same time, I'm trying to figure out the efficiency, like how to be more efficient with it. It's coming along. I mean, I have, thankfully, technology. I have access and to apps and so yeah, accessibility is a thing. So give
Well,
thanks. So for those that don't, it's like this is, and how to access folks as an artist to those that don't have accessibility to technology is another. So it's like, how do you, you know, outside, outside workshops, social distance.
yeah.
But it's tough. It's tough. And do people want to take their time when they're trying to figure out all kinds of other things in life? So yeah.
So thank you for staying active, for staying energized, and for sharing that energy with all of
Mm,
us. Because this is important work, and I felt this compelling need to amplify it and to present it to
mm,
through this platform, because it's been hurtful, it's been traumatic, it's hard
mhm,
for all of us, and I think this is one of, I hope, many other ways that we can figure out how to still feel that connection, being together, and support each other.
mhm. Yeah, definitely. Definitely. Thank you so much, Johan. Appreciate the Radioplasma, this platform, the importance of having these kinds of platforms. So thanks.
So
Yeah.
this is our conversation with Iréne I-Shea
Yeah.
Shaikly,
Yes.
and all the work that is happening, even though COVID has put us in isolation physically. That doesn't stop us,
Mhm.
and I
Nope.
guess I guess that is the perfect way to title this session. Um,
Can't
that
stop,
can
won't
stop,
stop.
won't stop.
Yeah, that's right. That's right. Give
Well,
thanks.
thank you so much for your time, for your energy, and looking forward to continue experiencing your music, your creative work, and please let us know whenever more work is coming up, so that way we can give it the the space and time to be heard and enjoyed and shared with everybody.
No doubt. No doubt. No diggity diggity. For sure. Muchas gracias, Johan. Lo agradezco mucho.
Gracias a ti.
Sí.
So with this, we conclude our session that has been recorded virtually. It's the first time that we actually mention it that way, but yeah,
Ah,
the first session
okay.
that has been recorded virtually for
Mhm.
Radioplasma.
So
Yeah,
I'm the first. Boop, boop. No, sir.
adaptation is the way to survival. So
Yeah, yeah, that's right. Exactly.
let's keep
Yeah.
working on that. Well,
Hmm.
thank you, Dene,
Johan. Yeah.
for being here with us. This is Radioplasma. I'm your
Perfect.
producer and host, Johan Vega. Thank you for watching. Thank you for listening.
Peace.